Well, the advance by the Rapid Support Forces has also raised fears of reprisals against the estimated 250,000 people remaining in El-Fasher. Pro-democracy groups have accused the RSF of the deaths of over 2,000 people since it captured the city. The African Union has condemned the violence. The UN, on its part, has called for the safe passage of civilians who don't want to live under the regime.
We have seen in Tawila many unaccompanied minors. Many of them are suffering from severe malnutrition, maybe around 70% of them. Still the numbers to be verified by professional health workers. But also this is a strong reminder that those who are paying the heaviest cost of this conflict are children and women. Many of those who are leaving Al-Fasher are leaving on their own foot, walking. Some of them are walking for 2 days, some of them for 10 hours. And most of them are women and children that are arriving until now. We expect that many men are hiding or not able to leave.
We and our humanitarian partners urge the international community for urgent action to protect civilians and for humanitarian workers in Sudan to guarantee safe passage and humanitarian access to people trapped in El-Fasher, as well as scaling up funding to support humanitarian operations in El-Fasher and elsewhere in Sudan.
Well, to better understand what further large-scale conflict in El-Fasher means, we are joined by Pascal Coutat, the Chief Executive Officer at the Sahan Research. He joins us via Zoom. Sahan is a research organization that focuses on security, politics, and conflict. Welcome to the program. Let's begin with our obvious question here. The risk of further large-scale conflict in El-Fasher is mounting by the day. My question to you is, what form is the conflict taking on right now, and what can we expect in the future?
The key objective of the RSF was for 18 months now to take Al-Fasher, actually since the very beginning of the war. And in this sense, the taking back, the overrunning of Al-Fasher was not only a key objective, but it's also a very important phase in the war. So in a way, the question now will be whether the Sudanese armed forces, as they announced, will be willing and able to try to reconquer Al-Fasher. When they said after recapturing Khartoum that they would now roll into Darfur, this never happened because the capacity was not there. We really will have to see whether the withdrawal of the army was tactical with the intention of fighting back or not. In any case, the ones who are most exposed now are the civilians, are the people who are trapped, as you just demonstrated in your report, are trapped in a city which is in a very, very dire situation.
Important points that you brought up there. That leads me to my next question. As you have alluded to, the army withdrew, saying it's a move to save lives. But where does this leave the estimated 250,000 people in El-Fasher, half of them children? What's going to happen to them?
Unfortunately, we have seen since the very beginning of the war in Sudan a very clear pattern. Whenever one side, never mind which side, whenever one side takes back a place which they had previously lost, whether that's the army from RSF or RSF from the army, the civilians are considered to have collaborated with the enemy, and the civilians, therefore, are immediately at risk. That's exactly what we're seeing now in El-Fasher. So the biggest fear is maybe not the one of a continuation of the fighting over the city, because this seems to have been achieved, the objective of the RSF, maybe with certain parts of the city still contested by both. But the real risk, as I mentioned before, the real risk is now for the civilians. And El-Fasher is a particular spot in the sense that there is a long history, a history which was in the Darfur War in the early 2000s, and which already was mainly targeting civilians. And this pitches again the same ethnic groups, the same tribes against each other. So what we have to expect, unfortunately, is the worst.
Right, expecting the worst, the risk for civilians, as you put it. But with the continuous threats of executions by the RSF, How can, for example, aid agencies ensure the protection and safe passage of civilians trying to escape the town? Is that a possibility?
If there is one thing which has been consistent throughout the conflict from the beginning, is that the international actors, aid agencies, and other actors which are on the ground or wanted to be on the ground have completely failed to have any impact on the protection of the civilians. One of the worst elements to observers anywhere outside Sudan is that from the very beginning, the rights of the individuals, the rights of the civilians, the rights of those who do not take part in the fight don't exist.
All right, let's leave it there. Mr. Pascal Coutat, thank you so much for your insights. Much appreciated speaking to us. Mr. Pascal Coutat from Nairobi.